Well, that's not really what this verse is talking about. It got cleared up when I was reading in A Course in Miracles. It says this: I once asked you to sell all you have and give to the poor and follow me. This is what I meant. If you have no investment in anything in this world, you can teach the poor where their treasure is. And that goes on to say this: the poor are merely those who have invested wrongly, and they are poor indeed. For poverty is lack, and there is but one lack, since there is but one need. You only have one need. What is that?
Need for God.
To remember who you are. That's your only need. To heal the separation that you think you experience between you and God. Now, some people go, well, I don't really think I'm separate from God. How many think that you might be separate from other people? How about that one that pushes your button?
Yeah, especially that one.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, that.
Oh, those people. Forgot about those people. Yeah. Your relationship with God is reflected in your relationship with other people. You cannot have a oneness with God and not have a oneness with other people. And you cannot make any exceptions and have a oneness with God. Wow. So if your only need is to remember who you are, to heal this separation that you think you have with God, and you feel separate with other people, then healing your separation with other people might help you heal your separation with God. What do you think? Does that make sense? That's what it's all about. Healing that belief that you have in separation with absolutely everyone and everything. And that's how you feel that one lack. And that's what makes us poor. When we really think that we are separate, that we are alone, that's what gets us thinking we're poor. And that's why it says, have no investment in the things of this world. And you can help people remember where their treasure is. Because where your treasure is, that's where your heart will be. And if your treasure is in things of the world, then that's where your heart will be. And you will feel very separate and very alone. It says that the poor are those who have invested wrongly. Any of you ever invest in anything and get no return?
Don't ask. Don't learn.
Yeah. No profit there, huh? Yeah, bad investment. Well, when we invest in the things in the world, there's really no return. There's no return that's lasting. There's no return that's going to bring you peace and love and joy. So it's about teaching people where they can invest. It doesn't mean you have to sell your stuff. You can have your stuff. Right? Just don't make that your priority. Don't make that where your investment is. Okay? That's what it's all about. And we invest in so many things that don't last. Think about all the things you've invested in that just don't last. Can you think of anything you've invested in that does last? Well, unless you've invested in yourself and in your spirit, you're investing in things that don't last, that will bring you no long return. It's not a long-term investment. So the poor are merely those who invested wrongly, and they are very poor indeed. And anytime we invest in anything other than spirit, then we're investing wrongly. Have your stuff. Enjoy your stuff. Just don't make it the source of your peace, your love, your joy. Don't make it the source of your happiness. That's really what it's talking about. So he says, have no investment in it. Right? So it goes on to say in Mark, for what shall it profit a man if he shall gain the whole world and lose his own soul? Wow. Now, at one time when I was a Baptist, I thought that meant if you didn't do it, you were going to go to hell, and that's how you lose your soul. But that's not how I believe anymore. I believe more like this. It says, what profiteth it a man if he gain the whole world and lose his own soul? If you listen to the wrong voice, you have lost sight of your soul. You cannot lose it, but you cannot know it. But you can not know it. It is therefore lost to you until you choose right. It isn't that you lose your soul eternally. It isn't that it's damned. It's just that you lose sight of it within your awareness. sight of it within your consciousness. You lose sight of your spirit. You lose sight of your true nature. You lose sight of your love, your peace, and your joy. That's what that means. You can't lose your soul. It's eternal. God gave it to you. But you can lose your awareness of it. And that verse goes on. It says this. The Holy Spirit is your guide in choosing. He is in the part of your mind that always speaks for the right choice because he speaks for God. He is your remaining communication with God, which you can interrupt but cannot destroy. Isn't that good news? You can't destroy it. You can't lose it. You can only forget it for a while. And that's what happens when we invest wrongly. We just forget who we are. We forget our true nature. We forget where our love is, our peace, and our joy. So the Holy Spirit is a guide. And in that song that you heard earlier, the song that Bob sang, In My Life, if you think about that in terms of spirit, yes, I have other people, I have other things in my life that have been very precious to me. But in my life, I love you more. You're the guide. You're the one that will guide me back. You're the one that will guide my choosing. So it's really about staying connected to Spirit. That's what it's really about. So in Lesson 155, the Course in Miracles, excuse me, the title of that lesson is, I Will Step Back and Let Him Lead the Way. That's what it's about. Just let Spirit lead the way. Just step back and remember who you are. Remember, you can't lose your soul, you can't lose your peace, your love, your joy, except in your awareness. God gave it to you. There's where your investment is. So in my life, I choose Spirit. In my life, I choose to be guided by that inner voice. In my life, I choose love. I choose peace. I choose joy. But to do that, you have to step back and let Him lead the way. So I'm going to use part of this lesson as we get into the meditation. But I do want to read one little thing from the Course. And actually, I ran across this after I put the lesson together. But it was so fitting that I don't have a slide for it, but I just wanted to read this to you. It says, the ego is trying to teach you how to gain the whole world and lose your own soul. The Holy Spirit teaches you cannot lose your soul. And there is no gain in the world. For of itself, it profits nothing. You can't lose your soul. You can't lose your peace. You can't lose your love. You can't lose your joy except from your awareness. That's all. But if in your life, you decide that's the most important thing to you, then you can have it. Just will it. How many of you would like to will more peace, more love, more joy? It's totally up to you. It's not up to anybody else. It's your life. So, in my life, I will step back and let Him lead the way. Does that make sense? Then say that with me. In my life, I will step back and let Him lead the way. Let's do that again. In my life, I will step back and let Him lead the way. I kind of got that. Now we're going to say it one more time, but I want you to really think about it. I want you to think about your life. I want to think about what your life is about and what you're up to. I want you to really take this in. Take this into your heart. Say this with meaning. Let's say this together. In my life, I will step back and let Him lead the way. And so it is. In my life, I will step back and let Him lead the way.